Hey everyone, in this stream, I wanted to talk about the studio DreamWorks, which is one of the major animated studios putting out movies right now. If you think about it, there are some recent animated films that are not from a major studio people immediately know. For example, TMNT Mutant Mayhem came out in 2023. I don't remember which studio put out that movie, but it's not a major one that people immediately know. You had Transformers 1 that came out in 2024. It was basically put out by Paramount, a studio that has done a lot of movies, actually, both animation and live action. So that's a little bit different. You have Disney Animation, DreamWorks, Pixar, Illumination, Sony Pictures Animation. Those are really the biggest studios. And honestly, I don't think everyone immediately thinks about Sony Pictures Animation. Obviously, people know Spider-Verse, people know Mitchell's versus the Machines, but this is the same studio that also put out like Vivo on Netflix. They've done the Smurfs movies. I don't think that people really know a lot of the Sony animation films that are not Spider-Verse or Mitchell's versus the Machines. And they also did Hotel Transylvania. I think that DreamWorks has definitely had a lot of ups and downs. And frankly, I think a lot of people would agree with that. There's been some good or great movies that DreamWorks has done and some not good ones. Think all this way. DreamWorks is a studio that both did Kung Fu Panda and Shark Tale. They did How to Train Your Dragon and Trolls. There's a big difference between these movies. If you think about it, some of them are definitely more kiddie. I mean, the Trolls movies are clearly more kiddie. Definitely don't appeal as much to adults. I mean, if you're an adult that's a parent with kids, and okay, it's like, yeah, my kids enjoy Trolls. I'm happy for them, but you're not going to watch Trolls on your own, most likely. On the other hand, something like Kung Fu Panda or How to Train Your Dragon, definitely more mature. Now, recently, I actually was thinking about the question, how many of DreamWorks movies have I seen only once? How many of them have I watched multiple times? And when I actually wrote down on a piece of paper, how many DreamWorks films have I seen only once? How many have I seen more than once? I realized there's not that many of them that I've actually seen multiple times. A lot of DreamWorks films are ones I've only seen one time, and actually not long ago. Now, I do want to address something quickly here. I did a stream recently about Pixar's films, and when I thought back about that stream, I realized, wait a minute, somehow I actually forgot to mention Coco. I have no clue how it is. I forgot to mention that film. I think it's a great Pixar film. It has top-notch animation. I mean, just think about the way the Land of the Dead looks. It looks so vibrant and colorful. The music is really good. A lot of Pixar films have really good soundtracks in the sense that they have great score, but not a lot of Pixar films have multiple songs in them. Coco and Toy Story are some of the only Pixar films that are more like musicals. Also, I think the story is compelling in Coco, voice acting top notch, as really powerful emotional moments, especially when you get to the end and you have this boy, Miguel, who's desperate for his grandmother, who's old, to actually remember her father so he won't be forgotten, so his memory will live on. It's so powerful when you see that he's playing this song that his great grandfather, his grandmother's father, sung to her when she was a little kid. And that causes life to return to her eyes. You see the grandmother actually remember again. It hits very hard. And man, I think that reveal about Ernesto de la Cruz is quite powerful. The movie gets pretty dark pretty fast when you think about everything we learn regarding all that Ernesto de la Cruz did. Pixar is a great studio. Now, when it comes to DreamWorks, I've seen the Free Madagascar films more than once. I actually have also seen the Penguins of Madagascar TV show. I've watched the first free Kung Fu Panda films more than once. I saw Kung Fu Panda 4 in theaters during 2024 with my mom. I thought it was a good, though not great, Kung Fu Panda film. Still absolutely fun and entertaining, still really good voice acting, top-notch animation, but didn't quite have the emotional core that the first three Kung Fu Panda movies did. I haven't yet rewatched it since seeing it in theaters. But also, Over the Hedge is a DreamWorks film I've seen multiple times. Prince of Egypt, I think Prince of Egypt is one of their best movies, does a fantastic job of telling the Exodus story. It does something different compared to the classic movie Ten Commandments with Charlton Heston. DreamWorks' Prince of Egypt actually focuses more on the brother dynamic between Ramesses and Moses, which I think is very interesting. Also, I've seen Megamind as well as The Bad Guys multiple times. We're getting The Bad Guys 2 in 2025. I really want The Bad Guys 2 to be good because I'm a fan of the first Bad Guys. I actually saw it in theaters twice. In fact, I drove from Montevideo to Marshall twice to see it in theaters. I haven't done that for any other movie. Also, Monsters vs. Aliens is one I've seen multiple times. I've actually seen season 1 of the Monsters vs. Aliens TV show. In fact, when it comes to Kung Fu Panda, I've actually seen 3 different Kung Fu Panda TV shows. I've seen the movie Dragon Knight. I don't know why it is that was a Kung Fu Panda show. It's odd because it's totally disconnected from the rest of the franchise other than having Poe and Mr. Ping in it. Seen Kung Fu Panda Legends of Awesomeness, which is on Paramount Plus, as well as TV show Paws of Destiny, which is on Amazon Prime. And I've seen the first, second, and fourth Shrek films multiple times. When it comes to Shrek 3, I might have seen this movie multiple times. That's a possibility. But because I haven't rewatched it anytime recently, I just don't know for sure how many times I've seen it. I don't know when it is I saw Shrek 3 for the first time. It's not a movie I have any desire to rewatch. Now, these films right here are all the DreamWorks ones that I've actually seen multiple times. That is only 16 out of the 48 theatrically released DreamWorks films. Not a lot. I've only seen 1/3 of DreamWorks' films multiple times. Now, when it comes to Chicken Run and Shark Tale, I feel like I watched Shark Tale years back, but I'm not 100% certain if I did, to be honest. It's one of those things where I feel like I saw it a while ago, but I don't know when that would have been. I feel like I saw Chicken Run a while ago, years back, but again, I don't know when that was. Honestly, when it comes to Road to El Dorado, I think I saw this movie a long time ago, but I just don't know with 100% certainty. Now, when it comes to the DreamWorks movies, I know I've only seen one time. There's a lot of them. First of all, Ants, DreamWorks' first movie that's pretty similar to A Bug's Life from Pixar. Some of that went for the first time not long ago, just within like the past few months. I mean, I'm glad I've now seen it. It kicked off this studio that's put out some good, great films, but I'm not very interested in rewatching Ants. And then when it comes to Joseph, King of Dreams, the direct-to-video prequel to Prince of Egypt, I think this is a really good prequel, actually. I've only seen it once. And when it comes to Puss in Boots 1 and 2, only seen them once. I think Puss in Boots The Last Wish, just utterly fantastic. It's one of the best animated films to come out in the last 5 years. It's better than a lot of animated films you get from studios other than Pixar, to be honest. And when it comes to Spirit, Stallion, and Cimarron, I saw that one for the first time not long ago. I have not seen Spirit Untamed, which is on Netflix. Then when it comes to Wallace and Gromit, Curse of the Were-Rabbit, saw this one for the first time within the past year, I'm pretty sure. When it comes to Flushed Away, which is one of the free DreamWorks stop-motion movies, along with Chicken Run, Wallace and Gromit, Curse of the Were-Rabbit, I saw flushed away for the first time not long ago. Also, The Penguins of Madagascar movie is another example. Then the B movie, How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World, is a movie I actually watched for the first time, pretty sure within the past year. I didn't watch it for a while because I wasn't hearing good things about it at all. Now, of course, How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World absolutely is positive reviews. I mean, if you look at its Rotten Tomatoes score, very high Rotten Tomatoes score. If you look at Metacritic, IMDb, I'm sure the scores are very high. But I was reading some opinions from just people online, not like opinions on Rotten Tomatoes or Metacritic, any of the major sites, but I was hearing what some people thought of the Hidden World, or people out there that really, really didn't like it. What they said made me not very interested in watching it. And then finally, like I think within the past year, I said, okay, I'm gonna watch this movie to see what I think of it, because I really like the first two How to Train Your Dragon movies. Plus, I've actually seen over 10 seasons of television on streaming. Quite a good amount there. To me, even though The Hidden World got really positive reviews, I think it's a pretty disappointing conclusion to the trilogy. I think that the filmmakers really didn't end things in a way that feels earned or satisfying. It felt like they realized, oh, this is the way the books end, so we got to have the film trilogy end this way, regardless of whether or not it fits or feels earned. I thought Hidden World just ended in a way that made me feel sad, not in a satisfying way, but in a way that made me feel like, oh, all the stuff that came before didn't really matter. None of it really amounted to anything. Oh, that's just such a gigantic bummer. When it comes to Rise of the Guardians, I think it's a pretty creative movie. Saw it for the first time not long ago, along with Turbo, the two Croods movies, Mr. Peabody and Sherman, Home, Boss Baby 1 and 2. I mentioned Captain Underpants. I don't think I mentioned it so far, actually, but I saw Captain Underpants for the first time not long ago. Initially, I didn't watch it because the title seemed very stupid, very juvenile. So I was like, I'm not interested in this one. It's just too childish. I don't want to watch it. I knew it got very positive reviews. After I watched quite a good amount of other DreamWorks films, I was like, oh, okay, I'll watch this one just to see if maybe the reviews are right. And I actually really enjoyed it. It was a lot better than I was thinking it would be. It manages to have cleverness to it while also having quite a good amount of toilet humor. I hope Dog Man, that comes out later on in January from DreamWorks, ends up being really good. I like the idea of doing a spin-off, a story within a story to Captain Underpants. To me, that fits. So I want to get another good story in that world. Then you got Abominable Trolls Band Together, Ruby Gilman, Teenage Kraken, and also that Orion in the Dark. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Orion in the Dark, which is on Netflix. Yeah, these are all DreamWorks films I've watched recently for the first time. I mentioned Kung Fu Panda 4 earlier. When it comes to Wild Robot, saw that one in theaters when it came out during 2024. Haven't yet rewatched it, but honestly, I'm thinking when it's on Peacock, I'll rewatch it. I loved Wild Robot. I think that's easily one of the best animated films to come out in years. Over the last 5 years, I would say Wild Robot, one of the best. So this studio's very much had ups and downs. There's really no denying that. Because on the one hand, they did Wild Robot. And on the other hand, DreamWorks did the Bee Movie, which I don't really enjoy much. I think the central idea about this relationship between a bee and a woman is just not very well thought out, because it's such an inherently creepy idea where it's like, oh, this bee and woman are together? What? Obviously, that's extremely weird. That makes you feel uncomfortable right away. Like, this is just way too creepy. And it comes to the Trolls movies. I mean, I mentioned earlier they're rather kiddie. Specifically, you have these cute trolls that are singing and dancing, especially in like the first movie, they're farting glitter and cupcakes. You go, oh yeah, of course, all the stuff that kids like. Not surprising. Okay, it's definitely not really much here for adults. Plus, the first Trolls movie actually is pretty tonally inconsistent because you have this creature eating trolls alive, and also you have this very juvenile side to the movie. Now, Boss Baby is also definitely aimed at kids, not really much here for adults. On the other hand, Rise of the Guardians, if you think about it, is a mature movie. It's not at all exclusively for children. I mean, just think about the idea here. You have this actually pretty scary villain, Pitch Black, trying to get all the kids in the world to stop believing in these spirits. And plus, with what we learn about Jack, what happened to this person he loved in the past, like this gets pretty serious. So DreamWorks has very much done different movies. I mean, Kung Fu Panda 2 is pretty mature. Not that there's zero humor in it, not that it's 100% bleak and depressing. No, no, that's not it. But you have a villain that tried to commit genocide against the pandas. That's pretty serious stuff. I mean, if you think about Chicken Run, that's not exclusively for kids. That definitely has more mature elements. At this point, I've seen almost every theatrically released DreamWorks film, with the exception of the first two Trolls movies and Spirit Untamed. There's, of course, the non-theatrically released DreamWorks films, or ones like Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate, which I don't think was directly put out by DreamWorks, but it's a follow-up to Megamind, so very much connected to DreamWorks. Also, you have Chicken Run 2. I don't think that movie was directly put out by the studio DreamWorks, but it's a follow-up to one of their movies, Chicken Run, so very much connected to DreamWorks. I've seen both these movies. On the one hand, Chicken Run 2, great sequel. Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate, that's a bad sequel. Everyone has said it already. It doesn't look good visually. It doesn't have the subversiveness that I really enjoy from the movie Megamind. That's a big thing that made that movie interesting for me, and you just don't see that with Megamind versus the Doom Syndicate. The voice acting's not as good. Not a movie that I'm looking to rewatch. Also, yeah, I forgot to mention, Sinbad Legend of the Seven Seas is one that I hadn't seen until like the past 2 years. So I definitely think that it's not one of the stronger DreamWorks movies. One of the big reasons why is because your main character, Sinbad, is not very likable. He's not a very good guy, so it makes it hard actually to root for him. And with Megamind, sure, you could definitely say that it's hard to know who to root for. Okay, yeah, I can see that, but I really enjoy that movie. I think that Croods 1 and 2 are actually very good. You have a compelling story in there about this group of stone people. They're trying to figure out how to survive in this world. The first one's about this family of Croods that meet this new person, Guy, who the lady is definitely attracted to. And by the time the second movie, the two of them are together. We're seeing how the girl's father is feeling about that. You can tell there's definitely insecurity on his part, which is very much relatable. A lot of dads know exactly what that is. I felt that before. Oh man, my daughter is becoming an adult. Oh, I don't want to lose my child. I love them. I want to still have them in my life. I mean, when you have a child that is about to get married, for example, it's not at all uncommon for parents to have some pretty mixed emotions. When it comes to DreamWorks franchises, they definitely have some pretty good franchises. I'm hoping that the Bad Guys can be a good new DreamWorks franchise. So that will wrap things up for this one. Abominable was really good. Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken, all right, though certainly not fantastic. Oh, and the studio's definitely had a lot of ups and downs, but I appreciate that they've done some pretty different movies. Even if some of them are not good, at least they've covered a wide variety of different things. They've told a whole lot of different stories. But yeah, I'm going to end things here. I will be live again pretty soon. I definitely within the next week. We'll see exactly when I'm going to be live again, but definitely going to do a stream again soon. Bye, everyone.